That's the end of the session. 14th. The pit exit looks clear. Okay, Paul, we've got 19 minutes to set a lap.
Good luck, everybody. Remember, there's a bunch of cars on this track, so if you're on an out lap or an invalid lap, you might try to do the best you can to let people by.
There's a car rejoining in front. The leader's just done a 54.8. P3, sector 3 time is quick. The guy ahead has just done a 54.7.
Car right. Clear right, on your right. Clear right. On your right, clear right.
There's a car leaving the pit lane. Fastest lap for Manny, 53.9. P9.
All right, Daniel, I was trying to get out of the way.
Sorry, me too.
New fastest lap for Manny, 53.9. P15. That's a new fastest lap for Montgomery, 53.9. Fastest lap for Joyner, 53.6. You're 2/10 off the pace in sector 1.
Sorry.
17th place. Fastest lap for Joyner, 53.5. Sector 1 is 0.5 off the pace.
Go left, right.
Okay, Paul, there's a car exiting the pits, heads up. New fastest lap for Manny, 53.4. The guy ahead's last lap time is a 54.7. P11. That's your quickest lap in this session. You're currently 0.8 off the leader's pace. Sector 3 time is fast. The track temp's increasing. It's now 24 Celsius.
Thank you.
Sector 1 is 0.3 off the pace. Sector 2 is 0.3 off the pace. There's a car leaving the pits. .13th place. That's your fastest lap today. You're now 0.8 off the pace. That lap time was 54.2. P10, good lap. That's your quickest today. That puts you 0.6 off the pace.
Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry, dude.
You're a 10th off the pace in Sector 2.
Right side. Hold your line. Hold your line. Clear right.
That's your best lap in this session. You're now 0.6 off the leader's pace. You're 2/10 off the pace in Sector 3. Sector 1 is 0.6 off the pace. Sector 2 is 2/10 off the pace. P12, that puts you 0.9 off the pace. Sector 3 is 2/10 off the pace. P14. Sector 1 is 0.4 off the pace. Sector 2 time is okay. P17, you're currently 0.8 off the pace. Okay, Paul, you've got half your fuel left. Sector 3 is 0.3 off the pace. Sector 1 is 0.4 off the pace. We need to find a tent in Sector 2. You've got 10 minutes of fuel remaining. P18. Sector 3 is a tenth off the pace.
Thanks, sir.
You're a tenth off the pace in Sector 2. P19. Sector 3 is 0.5 off the pace.
Car right. Clear right. P20. You're 2/10 off the pace in Sector 1. Alright, Paul, there's a car exiting the pits, heads up. P13, that's your quickest lap. Sector 3 is a tenth off the pace.
Sorry.
Yellow flag, watch out.
Thanks, Stevie.
Thanks, Joshua. A little bit of patience there while I was coming out. It might have been nice.
Sorry, Norm. I was moving over to let you by. I thought you were on a lap.
No problem at all.
You were 10th off the pace in Sector 2. There's a car leaving the pits. Sector 3 is 0.3 off the pace. Okay, Paul, we estimate you've got 5 minutes of fuel remaining. Sector 2 time is good. You're currently 0.6 off the pace. Your last lap time was at 54.0. V14. Sector 2 time is good. That puts you 0.4 off the pace. You need to find a 10th in Sector 3. 2 litres left.
Car right. Clear right.
P15. Yellow flag, you're 2/10 off the pace in Sector 3. Yellow flag. That's the end of the session. 15th place. .60 seconds.
Daniel, Michael, Chris, and Nick, I'm going to let you guys buy me and let you guys go race. I do not want to be in anybody's way.
Buddy, there's a reason I drive a bright yellow car that says rookie on it. I have no intention of getting in anybody's way.
30 seconds.
Good luck, everyone.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
10 seconds. The track temp is 25 Celsius. The air temp is 19. We've got cold tyres. We need to get some heat into them. Rolling start. Get ready. Follow car number 27 in the right lane.
All right, here we go. Round 3. Welcome, everybody.
The safety car speed
Several
is
new
81
folks
kilometers
this
per
week,
hour.
so great to see you guys.
We need to
Welcome.
catch car number 27.
As always, with this car, we talked earlier, cold tires is going to take a couple of laps for them to get up to temperature, so take it easy, give a little extra room. Some red zones to look out for. As always, the top of the hill where your car gets light, somebody's going to lose it and come across there, so be careful. Watch the dive bombs coming down into turn 1. Also, speaking of turn 1, with pit exit being right there, be heads up. People coming out of the pits know where you're at. People on the track, you might have to go wide. So just, that's kind of a bad place for pit out. Appreciate everybody's support of the league. This week, we have Mr. Paul Stevens sponsoring this one, so a huge shout out to you, sir. Thank you very much. Good luck to everybody. Have fun. And remember, interviews with SMB on their Discord channel. And we'll see you on the other side.
We need to catch up to car
Thank you,
number
Stevie.
27.
Thank you, Paul, for sponsoring the broadcast.
Are you ready? Go, go, go!
Left side. Clear left.
The guy in front is Russell, car number 260. Okay, Paul, the next car is Brewster, car number 933, A license. Their rating is 3.4. The leader has just done a 54.4. V14. Don't let this guy distract you. That lap was a 54.9. Our refueling window will open after 11 minutes and closes after 29 minutes. That's a new fastest lap for Homan, 53.9. There's an incident in Big Bend. It looks like it's Julian. Okay, Paul, you're reeling Brewster in. The gap is now 0.5. The leader has just done a 54.0. That's a new fastest lap for Joyner, 53.8. V13, you're 2/10 off the pace in sector 1. Fastest lap for Homan, 53.7. That was 54.2.
Shit, Stevie, I'm sorry.
No, sorry, Adam, that was all on me. Yeah, that's all on me.
Don't wait too long. Find that gap. Joyner, car number 8, is now leading. New fastest lap for Peter, 53.6. There's There's an incident in. Left-hander. It looks like it's green.
Take the inside up for Julian.
54.2. Sector 2 is 0.3 off the pace. New fastest lap for Gerrits, 53.6. Okay, Paul, keep piling on the pressure. He'll make a mistake. That's a new fastest lap for Manny, 53.4. The leader has just done a 53.5.
Guard Michael.
Good consistency. Keep them coming. Fastest lap for James, 53.4. Incident in Big Bend. It looks like Thompson. You've just done a 54.4. Come on, nail him already. All right, Paul, the pit window is now open. That's your best lap in this session. Sector 1 is 0.3, off the pace. Stay close. P11.
Oh, how was the ring? Where'd you finish in the end?
You've got half your fuel left. Sector 1 is 0.3, off the pace. Alright Paul, stay close. Wait for him to make a mistake.
You know, really?
Hey,
Or was that from the stream?
Gary.
10th position.
You're doing great. No pressure. Just keep catching them.
Fastest lap for Manny, 53.3. There's an incident in Big Bend. We think it might be Peter.
Mario, I'm going to let you pass before you cause an accident, buddy.
P9.
Go on, get past.
Okay, Paul. 10 minutes of fuel remaining. Stay close. Wait for him to crack. There's a car exiting the pits, heads up.
Right side. Clear right.
Good job catching him, Michael. Stay back here where it's safe.
Me too.
I'll let you pass on straight with Noria.
P8. Okay, Paul. Stay close. Wait for him to make a mistake. That's your quickest lap in this session. The track temperature's rising. It's now 27 Celsius. Incident in left-hander. We think it might be Adrian.
On your left. Still there. Clear left.
P7. You've just done a 54.0. Good move, mate. The car in front of us is a lap behind. Okay, Paul, hold your nerve, just keep it smooth, no mistakes. Come on, man, keep pushing. 20 minutes remaining, you've got 20 minutes left. You're halfway home. We estimate 5 minutes of fuel remaining. That lap was a 54.2. Sector 2 is 0.4 off the pace. That's a new fastest lap for James, 53.2. Montgomery in front is pitting. 2 litres remaining. P6, sector 2 is 0.5 off the pace. Okay, Paul, your lap times are pretty consistent.
Right side. Clear right.
Come on, don't make it easy for him. Make him go the long way around. Your lap time was 54.4.
Car right. Clear right.
You've got 2 minutes of fuel remaining. Very little fuel left. Come into the pits at the end of this lap. Box this lap. Okay, Paul, the next car is 1 lap behind. We're running on fumes, mate. Hit this lap, in this lap.
Car left. Clear left.
Engage the limiter.
Fucking that was
100
close.
metres. 50 metres. Front left, 98%. Right rear, 99. Minutes remaining, 15 minutes to go. Watch your mirrors, there's a car approaching. Your left sides are running hot. Blue flag.
Car left. Clear left.
The car in front is Tullio, car number 29, A license, and their rating is 4.4.
Yes. What kind of pitted?
P20, the gap to P5 behind is now 3.9 seconds, 1 lap ahead. The gap to Tullio ahead is increasing, it's now 3.8 seconds.
Right, head speed. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Paul, there's a car exiting the pits, heads up.
On your right. Clear right.
P19. The guy ahead is Russell, car number 260.
Left side. Hold your line. Clear left. Car left. Still there. Clear left.
Come on, Paul. Good stuff. Keep it coming. B17. He's all over you. Keep your exit speeds up. Stay smooth. The leader, Joyner, is pitting. James, car number 22, is now in the lead. th place.
Yeah, I got out of the way a little too much, caught myself a drive through.
Right, the guy ahead of us is Brewster, car number 933, A license, and their rating is 3.4. Keep digging. You've got 10 minutes left, 10 minutes to go. The leader, James, is pitting. Fourteenth. Sector 1 is 0.3 off the pace. Sector 2 is 0.4 off the pace. You're a tenth off the pace in Sector 3. Alright, Paul, don't let this guy distract you. Ten minutes of fuel remaining. 13th place.
Sorry, Mario.
There's an incident in. Left-hander. It looks like Rays. Yellow flag. Caution. You've used half your fuel. There's an incident in. Downhill. It looks like it's Russell and Green. The gap in front is now 3.9 seconds. Okay, Paul, the next car is 2 laps behind. That's good consistency, keep it up. Five minutes to go, 5 minutes left. There's an incident in. Left-hander. It looks like it's Navarro.
Trying to get out of your way.
The driver in front of us is Jacobson, car number 40, and their rating is 3.4. In front is now 4.5 seconds. There's an incident in Big Bend. We think it might be Green. We estimate you've got 5 minutes of fuel remaining. You've just done a 54.3.
I'm guessing you know, but don't
13th
worry about
place.
me, Jeff. I'm just watching the fun. And you? The gap ahead is now 4.3 seconds.
2 litres remaining. Two minutes to go, 2 minutes.
Bollocks.
That lap was at 54.1. Incident in uphill. It looks like Daniel. 2 minutes of fuel remaining.
Will it be white flag? Come on!
We're running on fumes, mate. Okay, Paul, the next car is Brewster, car number 933, A licence, and their rating is 3.4. Very little fuel left. Incident in Big Bend. It looks like Daniel. What's your speed limit in the pits? Pit lane speed limit is 56 kilometers per hour, 100 meters. 50 meters. Left front, 97%. Front right, 98%. Left rear, 99%. Rear right, 99%. Last lap. Yellow flag.
That does not make any sense to me.
Clear left.
Well done.
Yeah, well done. Did you run out of fuel?
Yeah.
I put way too much in also. Should have had some of mine.
Heads up would have been nice. Good race, everyone.
Thanks everybody, well done.
On your right. Clear right.
That is
I
bullshit.
owe you a huge apology, sir.
I don't understand that. How the fuck did that happen?
I'm having fuel issues. Adam Thompson, maybe not in this race, but in previous races had the. So hopefully they can rub some brain cells together and figure it out for next week. This is a tricky track to get the fuel strategy right on. You want to be as thin as possible on your fuel stop, but it's easy to not account for that extra lap that can happen. We're going to look at the official results. James McRitchie, again, with that upset win on the last lap, comes home first with Soren Garrett's having a nice run, coming in second. Antonio Reese in third place, but you're first in the Masters division as we see a stricken car there at the entry to turn 1. Joshua Wilkie coming home with the Spec 2 win in fourth place overall. Ian Joyner falls back to fifth, so not too bad overall. Ends up handing McRitchie about 15 to 18 seconds there in the closing stages. Chris Montgomery comes home at 6th. Morn Human comes home at 7th. Julian Ditchburn, we saw him with an early incident, manages to rally that up to 8th place. Thor Tulo behind him in 9th. Jörg Vandy, who had to stop for a splash and go, comes home 10th. Not a huge loss for him. So going from 2nd to 10th, not the worst that could have happened. Jim Brewster in 11th. Jeff Jacobson in 12th. Andrew Love 13th. Kevin Adrian 14th.
Right up close.
Welcome to 2024 Season 4, Round 3 of the Weekend Warriors Formula Ford League here at Lime Rock Park, live on slow motion broadcasting. My name is Randall McGrew, and I'm joined by Daniel Zippy Salmon in commentary and in the production trailer. Daniel, we have a good race here today. We don't have much time left in quality, so let's get those points up. Here in the Spec 1 division, we have James Barry leading the way with a nice, comfortable margin over Youngsie Lin and Daniel Tufts there in third place. It would skip over to Spec 2 division, and we'll see that Joshua Wilkie leading the way there over Andrew Love with a nice, comfortable margin, 148 over 125 with Bill Walker in third place. And then finally, the Masters division, the old but not slow guys, Jörg Manny leading the way with a commanding lead over Jim Brewster, and Brad Cathcart coming up in third currently with a nice gap over Antonio Reese in fourth. Daniel, this is a tricky track for racing, great for hot lapping. What do you expect to see out here today? I'm going to jump in here real quick. Looks like our production trailer has a little bit of issues there with the microphone so far. So qualifying is over. We have Jörg Manny with the pole in Masters division. And there he is. I think we can hear him, possibly.
There you go. It helps if I hit the unmute button. It definitely does help. I've got a mute button on the mic itself and on the stream. So my apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. You were spared from me just that little bit longer.
So we have a good race lined up today here at Lime Rock Park. 40 minutes in the Formula Ford. I don't remember if this series does a pit stop. I'm pretty sure they do have a required fuel stop, but Jörg Manny sitting in the pole position over Ian Joyner in second place. Soren Garrett comes in third, starting alongside James McRitchie. Antonio Reese, the second of the Masters drivers, starting in fifth. Chris Montgomery going to be starting third on the Spec 2 pole, I believe. Daniel Tufts in seventh, with Jason Green in 8th. 9 is Morn Human with Joshua Wilkie in 11th. Sorry, Mario Rass in 10th with Joshua Wilkie in 11th. Julian Ditchburn is starting 12th.
As we have a look at 13th, we've got Peter Maddox, the Australian driver, alongside Jim Brewster, one of the admins there at Formula V. Paul Stevens, that is today's race sponsor. Thank you very much, Paul, for Slothly does it. He's there in 15th with Russell Telker there in 16th for Mom's Basement Racing. Stevie Ray, the man himself, he's there in 17th with Paul Jackson there in 18th. Bill Walker takes 19th with Jeff Jacobson there in 20th. Brad Cathcart in 21st. For Tuller there in 22nd with Kevin Adrian in 23rd and Gary Wobold in 24th.
25th is going to see the likes of Andrew Love starting next to Peter True. Michelle Lynn going to be starting 27th with Carlos Navarro starting in 28th. Slow Motion's own gas man Adam Thompson starting there in 29th with a blistering 54.436, just barely faster than Daniel Varon in 30th. 31st is going to see Michael Nelson with 32nd being Chris Kane. And then 33rd, Nick Toho did not set a lap time in qualifying, has not yet taken to the grid. We'll see if he starts this race or not.
Well, it's definitely going to be a fun race, and I do apologize. A few people appear to be missing classes. I have updated the driver update bit, but I got to be honest, I'm wondering if I've maybe hit a wrong button there somewhere. My apologies for that. But certainly, again, I do apologize. New to being the producer role, certainly still getting used to the software a little bit. But what I can tell you is Jörg Manny is on the front row, and it's good to see the Master is back and up at the front. His biggest rival, Antonio Reis, just 2 cars behind him. It's going to be very interesting to see how that turns out.
Turn 1 could be very tricky here. That inside line is going to be definitely the preferable starting line, so that's going to help Antonio Reis maybe gain a couple spots on the start from his 5th place starting spot to make his way forward. Not a great track for passing, really only one great opportunity going into turn 1, so could see some elbows out pretty early here. Fuel strategy could be the big changing thing here. We normally see Antonio Reis coming in first. We do have Stevie Ray, who is traditionally the Pied Piper of pit strategy. So we'll see which one of those 2 pits first.
Oh, definitely. Antonio Reis as well. He is one of the gentlemen that does like to pit quite soon. And we're going to be keeping an eye on him. I'm just going to try something very quickly while they're out on the grid, see if that updates the standings for us. But Lime Rock, again, very short track indeed. And I know a personal favorite for Michelle Lynn.
Yeah, sub 1 minute lap times. We're going to see quite a few laps, probably 42 laps expected here, and possibly even as many as 45. So you're going to have to take a little bit of extra fuel to make sure, because you're not going to be 100% sure what the distance of this race is going to be as we see them coming down the hill through the final corner. Jörg Manny leading the pack onto the long front straightaway. We're going to have a really, really interesting start here. We see the pace car dive into the safety of the pit lane. The field is now in Jörg Manny's hands, and he's already going. We see them shuffling around, covering off, defending. Jörg Manny leads the way down to turn 1. This tight little double apex, turn 1 and 2, could see some issues on the outside. So far, so good. However, Jörg Manny leads the way, still in front, trying to see if Antonio Reis was able to make any spots there, and actually it looks like, yes, he's made up 2 spots, so that inside line definitely being the preferable start as they make their way through the right-hander and towards the uphill section of the track.
Something's happened with Daniel Tufts. I've just seen Tufts fall down through the order, and he has jumped to the pit, so we're going to keep an eye on that a little bit later. Obviously, something pretty bad has gone wrong for him, but you can see there a lot of these guys getting into single file as quickly as they can. Jörg Manny currently out in front. He's leading the way with Ian Joyce right behind him, James McRitchie right behind him as well. And you can see they're really using as much of the track as they possibly can. Definitely, you got to be careful there, because it's very, very easy to get a wheel dipped in the grass and potentially over-rotate that vehicle.
We see Antonio Reis look like going very wide through the final corner. We have a battle here going through turn 1 and 2 with a couple cars running too wide. So far, made it through, not going to be able to get that move done on the outside. They fall back in the single file line. We're going to see them running line of stern like this through most of the lap. Not a whole lot of passing opportunities. If you get a good run up the hill, you might have one in the back half of the track, but mostly what you're trying to set up is a good run out of the final corner to get that slipstream in that pass into turn 1. We see a couple guys getting a little wild over that hill crest. That crest can be really tricky to some drivers. What is your experience with it, Daniel? How do you mitigate that crest and that weight transfer?
I was literally just thinking about that crest as well, and I did hear, certainly in the email that Stevie would have sent out to the Weekend Warriors League, it was very strongly advised that you make sure your wheels are straight as you go over that crest. Certainly the weight transfer as you basically lighten up the suspension and then load it back up again as you go over that crest is quite intense. As we see Paul Jackson here, he's looking to try and make a move going into turn 1. Currently on the, he's ahead, but he's got 2 cars battling right behind him, and that's going to be, where have I gone now? I've lost myself. Kevin Adrian and Brad Cathcart.
Yeah, once you get stuck on the outside there at turn 1 and 2, you're going to lose a couple spots. It does give you the preferred line there for the left-hander, but he does end up losing 2 spots by getting overtaken into turn 1. We see that happening a lot. There's a couple more cars. You see them getting a little squirrely going over that hill. If you see a car suddenly jerk to the right, normally that means their wheels weren't straight going over that crest, and it really tries to buck you off the track. We're on board now with Kevin Adrian. He's got a good run out of the final corner. That car ahead of Paul Jackson not quite getting to the apex, so he's going to have a good opportunity to stick the nose out as they approach turn 1. There he goes. He's going to make the move up the inside. Here comes Kevin Adrian into turn 1, kisses the apex, manages to keep it there planted, and we have a car there on the inside. Who is that? I couldn't tell who it was.
Julian Ditchburn.
Ditchburn. Yeah, Ditchburn dropping down the order. Hopefully he managed to keep it out of the barrier and won't have much damage on that car and can continue on. Kevin Adrian with a textbook move into turn 1.
As we're taking a quick peek here at Adam Thompson, now he's starting a little bit further back today, and yeah, it does look like some of the driver updates did not get registered, so a little bit of an error there on my part. I do apologize. I'm very much still learning the software, but it looks like he's having a little bit of a battle there with Michelle Lynn herself, so definitely an interesting battle here. Don't get me wrong, Thompson, he's a very capable driver, and obviously rocking that S&B paint, I'm very inclined to see him do well. Joshua Wilkie currently showing him how it's done representing S&B, but Michelle Lynn under heavy attack from Thompson as it stands right now.
Thompson showing some patience here, backing off a little bit, possibly saving some fuel and hoping to get some positions using that pit strategy. Michelle Lynn runs really wide. She's going to have lots of problems wrangling that car. She goes off track and hopefully gets that back on track without incident. It doesn't look like she spun, but she is way off there, and she's lost a lot of time. Adam Thompson now has some clean air in front of him as he tries to close the gap to the car ahead. Disaster for Michelle Lynn, maybe feeling the pressure of Adam back there, even though he seemed to be backing off. I think his plan may have been to follow Michelle Lynn, and he even ran a little bit wide when she did. So I think that was his plan all along, was to save fuel and follow her through the crowd.
Oh, definitely.
We jump up to this battle with Bill Walker, and he's stuck on the outside there, coming through the final corner. Maybe going to try a crossover. Now he's going to be in a good position to get slipstream, though. He looks a little bit far back. He might not be able to get this move set up for turn 1.
Oh, there you go. There's Kevin Adrian absolutely blitzing by on the right-hand side, getting the job done in the braking zone there as Bill Walker is nothing but a victim at that point. As I see, there's a couple of people come in the pits. That's Stevie Ray, the master. He's in the pits as well, as is, I believe that's Tuller. Oh, sorry, Nick Tuller, I believe, is in the pits as well. So definitely not what they had in mind. Nick Tuller and Daniel Tubbs currently showing as out of the race. Stevie Ray, though, in the pits. Be interested to see what happened there. I do see that he jumped to the pits and there was an off track. So perhaps a little bit of a race-ending mistake there for the Weekend Warriors organizer.
Yeah, the Pied Piper pit strategy coming in what I would think would be way too early, just over 5 minutes. And as you said, he took the tow. So definitely an incident, not a normal service stop, as he's now been in the pits for over 40 seconds. So definitely not a normal pit stop. So Antonio Reese may be playing the role of Pied Piper this time. We'll see how it all plays out. Pitting early might actually be a really good strategy here, as it'll give you some clean air.
Oh,
you can set some quality. Oh, a little bit of contact there. There goes Jason Green. He was on the inside there for the left-hander. Got contacted a little bit. We didn't get a good angle on it to see if he ran wide of that apex or not, but we see a nice heated battle going on here at the back of the pack.
Yeah, that is a battle with Joshua Wilkie, but I do believe it was the individual in that black car there who had a little bit of contact with him. I do apologize. I think I'm going to speed that up a little bit. Bear with me here. Let's... Nope, that didn't do it. All right, we're going for the slow motion, ladies and gentlemen. Let's really savor the moment of this one. So you can see that Green is currently on the outside. There's a black car there on the inside. That's Wilkie ahead of him. And I do believe these guys came in contact on that next corner. So definitely not what they had in mind. You can see Green there dipping a wheel in the grass. Is this enough to basically upset the car? You can see, yeah, a little bit of over rotation, able to correct it. And then as they go around this left-hander, I think this is where it all went wrong for him. Yeah, you can see there, these cars getting a little bit closer together. Right rear touches the left front, and that is a ricochet scenario. We're going to see them start to buck. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's the buck, and around they go.
In the red car there, following at the end, managed to avoid the contact. While we were looking at that, though, it looks like Adam Thompson, showing the true slow motion broadcasting colors, has taken the tow.
Oh dear.
And has been in the pits. Possibly, I don't know. I'm getting conflicting information here. I don't see him on the timing screen as being in the pits, but my individual overlay shows him as being in the pits for 2 minutes. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Maybe you could find him in the overlay or in the broadcast and see where he's at on track. But he is showing a lap down on the battle box in the lower right-hand corner. Our replay going in extreme slow motion. This is slow motion broadcasting brought to you by Paul Stevens. So we were very slothfully does it through that replay. Adam Thompson now back on track, showing laps down. He has definitely had an issue on track, and maybe we can find that, maybe not, but he's currently running 31st overall.
Well, I am having to look through the event log, and I'm not quite able to find it. I see Jason Green. I see the incident there. I did see Adam Thompson came back on track and then jumped to the pits. Here we go. Let's have a quick look here. It looks like he's gone into the pits twice. I do wonder if he had an incident there with Stevie Ray. Let's have a quick look here, see if we can find out exactly what happened to Adam Thompson.
To see him coming down the hill through the final corner, looking a little loose there, but he manages to keep it in a nice tight line.
There you go.
Somebody comes back on track in a very, very aggressive way. Probably got their tires out there into the grass and darted across the track, collected Adam Thompson. He opted to take the tow. Couldn't see much damage on there. We see the replay of Stevie Ray here coming through the final corner, just runs super, super wide and rejoins the track. He rejoins safely, makes his move towards the pit lane right in front of oncoming traffic. Adam Thompson with nowhere to go, a rare mistake out of the veteran Stevie Ray, and he's going to be kicking himself for that.
Well, definitely, I know that there's going to be in the friendliest way, there'll be laughs and jokes about such a subject. But let's have a look as well about what's happening through the field. So as we have a look at the front, Ian Joyner has gone and taken that lead away from Jörg Manny. Jörg Manny's paint still giving me the giggles every time I look at that. Thank you very much for that, Jörg. But Joyner currently in the lead there. He's got about 0.3 of a second ahead. But right behind Jörg Manny is James McRitchie. We got a little bit of a view there. Look how close he is. Soren Ritz right behind. So realistically, the top 6 right now separated by about a second between the whole pack.
Yeah, this track promotes very tight racing. It's most of the time full throttle around the track in a car of this speed. So slipstream going to be a huge part of this race at any point of the track. So we will see right now, though.
Sorry, you got me.
Ian Joyner leading the way, and I was also distracted by Jörg Manny's car, and it couldn't help but have a slip of the tongue there. You have to wonder if Ian Joyner is going to be equally distracted seeing that car in the mirror. Is now Jörg Manny really applying the pressure through the left-hander.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I know Guido Marzucchi is, I think I got his name wrong as well. It's not Marzucchi. I think, Guido, he is there in the chat. Thank you very much, Guido. Also, Tamara as well. Christian Kabanga, where have you been, sir? You're supposed to be out on track, but Guido's team is Fox Anderson Racing Team, acronymed as FART. So I think all we're going to do is write that down to the fact he was really missing Guido on that occasion, assuming that his cat hasn't gone and topped him off.
Yeah, Guido, we need you back in here so that I can make accurate references to racing teams on track. We're going to jump on board with James McRitchie as he follows Jörg Manny. Is he going to look to the inside? No, he's going to back off at the last second. Not quite close enough to make a move, but close enough to keep that pressure on. If there's any mistake out of Jörg Manny, which is rare, McRitchie's going to be there to pounce. We know that Jörg Manny is not much of one to save fuel, but he's in a good position here to save a little bit, and every little bit could count on this pit stop. The early pit stop could give you quite the undercut potential, because you come flying down that straightaway and the cars coming out of the pit lane are going exceptionally slow, though if you get there at the wrong time, it does put you on the outside, which can easily bite you, as we saw earlier with Michelle Lind.
Definitely very easy to lose the car here. And not only that, these guys are pushing it for everything they can get out of it as well. But I'm going to have a quick look through the field because it looks like Peter Maddox, he's currently having a battle with Josh Wilkie. Wilkie's stuck right behind Chris Montgomery, so we could have a three-way fight here. More involved for the S2 series. So right now, Morn Human, he's a little bit of a ways up the road. He's there. Currently in 5th place overall as it stands, but Josh Wilkie, he's keen. He's had a great result in the last few rounds, getting a good couple of wins here in the S2. I think last week he did S2 win in both the Formula 1600 and the SRF. So we're going to have to see if he can continue not only to get those wins, but to stay on the podium. But right now, Peter Maddox right behind him, Chris Montgomery ahead. He really is in a tough situation if he wants to try and make his way through the field.
Yeah, his best opportunity here might be to save fuel and to get it done on pit lane. Quite a gap ahead of these three to the lead 5. So they're going to have a lot of ground to make up. They need to work together, and so far they've done a pretty good job of it. We haven't seen any wild moves out of anybody. Everybody just keeping in line and trying to get that slipstream going and try to train their way up to the top 5. Right now that gap pretty large though. About 3.5 seconds. So they're going to have a lot of ground to make up in a short amount of time. We're already 13 minutes into this race.
Oh, here we go.
Nearly starting to approach the halfway mark. We are definitely in the time window when the pit lane could be open for some action, but we haven't seen anybody come in yet. Chris Montgomery is getting really close. This cameraman is running so fast right now to keep ahead. Looking back from Chris Montgomery at Josh Wilkie. Wilkie showing that nose a little bit here and there, but not number 40 entry ahead of him. Nice little train of cars here so he can make up some ground. Might be looking to short pit there, get a little bit of grass, and possibly gives up one spot there to Russell Telker. Gets it a little bit wrong through the right-hander and loses some momentum. But now he's right on the gearbox of Telker coming down the hill, so he could be in a spot to get that position back going into turn 1. Telker going to have a big dose of slipstream from the car ahead and some open air. Going to be able to close some track position. We'll see if Jacobson tries to get completely unprovoked, going to lose a handful of positions, gets it rolling again. Looks like no damage on the car, but he's going to be feeling the pressure of a huge pack behind him.
I thought it was all going to be over that last lap. Let's take a quick look to see exactly what happened here. So he's there. Everything's looking very stable. Heads down into the left-hander, and that looks like he's gone and downshifted too far. The rear wheel's locked up, and I think that's, looking at the way that incident happened, I'd say he's gone and skipped the gear.
He's either skipped a gear lap back during the pit cycle. We haven't seen really anybody else come in since Soren Garrett's. Jason Green came in. He was stopped for 14 seconds, so about 0.8 faster of a pit stop than Jason Green. Green involved in that incident earlier in the race, so he's still on a recovery run, currently running in 23rd. Seeing Morn Human came into the pit lane. He's currently 22nd. He was stopped for 26.9 seconds. So something wrong with that pit stop. Either had to repair some damage or possibly took tires.
Yeah, definitely not worth taking tires in a race of this length. And I'm looking through, I do not see any warnings there for Morn Human. It does look like he went through the pits twice, though. So something has definitely gone on with Morn Human at some point. But no red flags on my end. As we see Julian Ditchburn, he has managed to get the better of Jeff Jacobson. Now, Jeff Jacobson, a little bit of controversy yesterday, making a pass that was like 3-4 wide in the Formula V on the grass. So definitely... myself, I'm not the FIA. I thought it was actually, for lack of better words, a pretty baller move, and he's currently rocking in 11th, so just currently out of the top 10 as there is battles going on throughout the field. It looks like, oh my gosh, Fortilla, Paul Stevens, and Jim Brewster are here going at it. Fortilla apparently is leading the S1 right now. I disagree. It's Ian Joyner. I will try and figure out those driver overrides.
And we see this battle hot and heavy coming across the top of the hill. It's coming down the hill now through the final corner. We're going to see if we get any moves set up before turn 1. We see one car running a little bit wide there, the green and yellow car getting a little bit slidey through the final corner. And then we're going to see, looks like Jim Brewster making a move to the inside. Is he going to get it to stick? Yes, possibly. That battle continues to rage on. Jim Brewster gets the move done, slides over there in front of Thor Tulo, and going to try to track down this broadcast sponsor, Paul Stevens. This race brought to you by Paul Stevens, and Slothfully does it. Check him out right now. Running a decent pace. We're seeing him on the timing right now in 4th place, but actually overall he's in 6th place. We're still missing some drivers from our timing, trying to figure out what's going on there in the production booth. Is Zippy Salmon. He's leading this trio as they come down the hill. Still not seeing many more takers on the pit lanes. And as I say it, Thortillo is going to dive into pit lane here to make his scheduled stop before service. We'll see how long he is stationary for. So far, Jason Green, the fastest of the takers in pit lane with a 14.08 stop time. We'll see if Thor's able to get any faster. You see Paul Stevens runs a little bit wide there at the exit of turn 2, and we have Paul Jackson and Peter True battling going into turn 1. And the crossover is on. Peter True manages to stick it in there.
Oh, behind as well.
It was initially on the outside, and behind we have a big fight. So it's going on. It's firing off all over the track now. We have Michelle Lynn running on the out, getting the move done on the outside of the left-hander, now going to have the preferred line on the inside through the right-hander, but it's going to kill her momentum a bit. Soren Garrett's going to have the crossover and now going to have the preferred line in the uphill, and this is a very dodgy spot to be going too wide. Are they going to get it done? It looks like, yes, they get it done. Soren Garrett still with the inside, not able to get the move completed yet, but should have it done in this corner. Absolutely does get it done. Now they're going to have the run down the hill. We'll see if Michelle Lynn tries to make the move into turn 1 or possibly dives into the pit lane here as they run off the final corner. She runs a little bit wide. We're going to look back. She does not take to the pit lane. Gets a nice slipstream, showing the nose a little early and then dipping back into the slipstream. Not going to be in a spot to make the move into turn 1. Soren Garrett leads the way and gets that spot back from her.
Well, definitely a lot of fun racing happening here all over the grid. It looks like Paul Jackson and Peter True are going at it again. Michael Nelson getting in on that battle as well. So we have a three-way battle currently for 13th overall. Paul Stevens, he's going at it with, I believe that's Jim Brewster or Josh Wilkie. Definitely battles going on all over the field, ladies and gentlemen.
All over. We think Thor too low, easy for me to say, was stopped in pit lane for 15.5 seconds, so not the fastest stop for him. We'll see where he shakes out in the positions. As we're going to see Peter, not Peter True, somebody else is going to dip into the pit lane. That's Paul Stevens into the pit lane. We also see Paul Jackson in the pit lane. So the two Pauls in pit lane now. We're see Paul Stevens was the first to stop. He should be rolling any moment now as he stopped for nearly 16, 17 seconds. A long pit stop for Paul Stevens, 17.8 seconds. And now Paul Jackson is taking service. We'll see where Stevens slots out. We see a lot of traffic, but I think he's going to be the tail end of all of it.
Well, definitely. It's one of them things where with these cars, actually coming out into traffic is very advantageous, as I'm seeing 2 cars there with the SMB logo on. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That is fantastic news. And I believe that is Antonio Reese right there ahead of him. It is. So Antonio Reese, he's currently having a good day. Jürg Manny getting the better of him. Currently in P2 for the Masters. Jürg Manny quite a ways up the road. I'd say about 5.5 seconds as it stands right now. So definitely if Antonio wants to make this happen, he's going to have to pull something out of the hat. We do know that Antonio Reese does generally take that early pit stop. Him and Stevie Ray both having that car very much worked out.
Yeah, showing Jürg Manny leading the way. Actually, right now it's still Ian Joyner with a bit of a gap over him. He's developed about a 1 second gap. We're going to see Jürg Manny dives into pit lane, so going to be pitting out of second place here. Jürg Manny, we'll see how long that he stopped for. He might come out into some traffic. We are seeing some lap cars through the pit cycle enter the fray, so some of those lap down cars will shake out as the leaders start to pit. See Julian Ditchford rocking the slow motion broadcasting logo. Maybe that's why he ended up off track. It's a bit of a curse putting the SMB logo on the cars. We've seen in a few of these races and a few of the SRF races.
Oh, 100%. You know, don't get me wrong. Cars in terms of McLaren and Lotus, but I couldn't identify which model is which. But right now, Antonio is not worried about that. He's currently in 5th place, 2nd overall for the Masters. It looks like Jürg Manny is potentially going to get the better of him today. Hopefully still, despite the fact I've said that, and it looks like Jason Green has had an off track and then jumped to the pits as well. I do see our favorite SMB member of staff. He is currently retired. Adam Thompson not having the day that he was looking for, but for Tulo, he is caught back up to the back of Julian Ditchburn. This battle continuing to develop.
Adam Thompson discovering the best way to not run out of fuel is to not run enough laps to have an issue with it. As he's retired the car, now hanging up the steering wheel, and we've seen him in the chat giving some coaching to Zippy to how to get these overlays to work properly. So ends up benefiting the stream, even though we lose a little bit of the action on track with Adam Thompson running out of fuel. Thortulo making his way through the final corner, still hot on the tail of Julian Ditchburn, not able to close this gap up at all yet, though. He's in a position where he should be getting slipstream, just doesn't have the pace to get the good run out of the final corner to really close that gap up. So Ditchburn probably not paying much attention to his mirror quite yet. So if Tulo can sneak up, he might catch him sleeping a little bit.
Well, that is just one of the battles we got going on. It looks like Jim Brewster and Jeff Jacobson, these guys have been going at it for a while as well. Brewster, one of the admins, Jacobson as well, with that absolutely baller patch yesterday in the Formula V's at Mid-Ohio. And I believe that's Stevie Ray right behind him. Yeah, Stevie. So despite the fact Stevie's currently a lap down, you know what? That doesn't mean that you're slow or anything like that. Gosh, no. And then I'm not going to tell Stevie he's slow either. Guido in the chat is Adam out of fuel again. Well played, sir. Yeah, no, just because you are lap traffic, that certainly doesn't mean you are out of the running. And it's a tough situation to beat, as it looks like Jeff Jacobson, he's looking to make a move. Jim Brewster having a little bit of a weave there on the straight, trying to break that toe. Jacobson's just staying there right with him. Brewster going a little bit. Guido saying, yeah, come on, he really wants us to jump on him. Yeah, no matter of speaking, but we see there Brewster trying everything he can, positioning that 1600, making that car as wide as possible. The back end of a dump truck is certainly what he is trying to do right now, making Jacobson work as hard as he can in that number 40 machine.
We do see a lot of cars that are lapped down, and that's not really because they're very slow. This track is so short that you will have way more lap traffic than you normally do. And one of the toughest things to be in a single division race like this, or a single class race like this, is to be that blue flag car. You're still involved in your own battles. You're still involved in your own race. You don't want to interfere with battles with drivers that are faster on a faster lap than you. You don't want to hold them up. And it's a fine balance between running your race and staying out of the way. As we see right now, Brewster's taking a really wide line through turn one, but he's able to keep a bit of momentum by running just wide of the apex there. Also, it doesn't unsettle the car running in that first apex. Not really a huge issue in these cars. We're seeing him taking an alternate line. We see one car there. Is that Kevin Adrian that jumping into the pits? No, Jörg Manny is in the pits.
He didn't have enough fuel. Oh, Manny. Quick pit stop.
Manny in the pits.
Oh, dear.
Yes.
That's good news for Antonio Rees. sorry, Randall. That's definitely good news for Antonio Rees. You did flag the fact his pit stop was a little bit short, and it's fair to say that it has come back to bite him in that scenario. But right now we have a battle going on here as well. It appears to be a freeway battle. So right now we're looking at Michael Nelson. That is a driver from Denmark, looking very relaxed there in his picture profile. And we see right ahead of him, we've got Paul Jackson with Peter True out in front. Now these guys have been having a very good race so far. You have two S2s and an S1. So definitely an interesting battle for sure. These guys, if I have a look at the lap times, very, very evenly matched. Peter True actually at a little bit of a disadvantage by about a second, but he is also leading this train of cars, as you see there, taking a defensive line on the inside. He's pushed wide. Is this the opportunity that Jackson wants? No, not quite able to get it done. That door shut firmly in front of him.
He does run very wide, and it does a very good job of wrangling that car and getting it back to the apex for turn two. If you run wide in turn one, it doesn't necessarily hurt you, but he did run so wide. That road there in turn one is crowned. Once you get past that midpoint, it really starts to understeer. So he does an excellent job wrangling that car, bringing it back, and we see James McRitchie now dealing with, he's got the car off. Who's that? I couldn't see who that was. James McRitchie now trying to make his way through lap traffic. Was that Daniel Veron here? We see him coming through the right-hander, going to make the run up the hill, and I suspect that he didn't quite have those wheels straight in the uphill run, or maybe got too much of this curve here on entry. No, just loses it completely on his own, carrying a little bit too much speed there, brings it across the track before anybody arrives to the scene of the incident, gets it out of the way. Thankfully, nobody else collected, and just a mistake out of Veron there. He will not be happy with himself for that. but it does not affect anybody else. James McRitchie working his way through this traffic. Ian Joyner way ahead of him. Got a nice 5.3 second gap. So just trying to make his way through here. Not really any hopes of running down the leader Joyner unless Joyner runs out of fuel. But looking at the pit stop time, not really a concern with Joyner as he was stopped for nearly 14 seconds. That should be quite enough as they are on the 44th out of 45 circuits around this track. We'll see the clock ticking over to 40 minutes here very shortly. The leader should be crossing the line any moment now to take that white flag. As he's already across the line and making his way into turn one on the white flag lap with a nice, healthy 3.2 second lead. So maybe it looks like he lifted a little bit. Could be in fuel trouble, actually. So a big lift happening out of Joyner in that previous lap. We'll see if he's able to make his way completely around this circuit. Keep an eye on that gap. It's getting smaller and smaller. Joyner is saving fuel here. He might not have enough. We see McRitchie there running a little bit wide on the exit of the right-hander, but holding it. Look, that gap is getting smaller. 1.2 seconds, 1 second. Joyner out of fuel. It actually happened. Here he comes. Gets that move done. McRitchie to the lead through the penultimate corner. Joyner exceptionally slow. He is dropping like a stone. McRitchie's going to inherit this win thanks to that longer pit stop. Was about 3.5 tenths in the stall longer, and that's enough fuel to bring McRitchie home with the victory in an upset here on the final lap. McRitchie wins. Soren Garrett's in second place. Antonio Reese comes home with the Masters win, and Joyner
Wilkie in the back. Is he going to do
down the
it?
front straightaway. Contact, but Wilkie manages to bring it home in fourth place and the S2 win. And what a chaotic finish.
That was nuts, and that's great news for Wilkie. He was able to literally just snake that extra points at the minute, put him up. He's had the S1 win, but both him and Antonio Reese will be very happy, as I say, that Antonio Reese has disappeared. I do wonder as well, now we do here at the Weekend Warriors often see a couple of cars take flight at the end of the race, fuel permitting. Obviously, Ian Joyner will not be able to partake in those activities. It looks like Wilkie's going quite slow as well. I'm going to have a quick look back here. No, they've crossed the line. Okay. Just making sure, see if there's any more battles going on. But I do wonder if these guys are going to find a nice little spot to get some air. I have a feeling the end of the front straight is where it usually ends up getting a little bit spicy. So we shall keep an eye on that. I'm not sure who the instigator is going to be. I do know there's a few people, but I've got to give a shout out to the chat right now. So Guido and Tamara simultaneously, Manny got Thompsoned.
Manny wasn't the only one that got Thompson. Maybe they're going to have to, there's going to be a trio of them putting their heads together, seeing how do these dang fuel calculators work? How can we get them to work better for us? Everybody. Those three all now having fuel issues. Adam Thompson, maybe not in this race, but in previous races had the, so hopefully they can rub some brain cells together and figure it out for next week. This is a tricky track to get the fuel strategy right on. You want to be as thin as possible on your fuel stop, but it's easy to not account for that extra lap that can happen. We're going to look at the official results. James McRitchie, again, with that upset win on the last lap, comes home first with Soren Garrett's having a nice run, coming in second. Antonio Reese in third place, but you're first in the Masters division as we see a stricken car there at the entry to turn one. Joshua Wilkie coming home with the Spec 2 win in fourth place overall. Ian Joyner falls back to fifth, so not too